Hello, everybody. Been a while since I did any videos. So I decided to make this one, I guess, about this character, and then to try to explain some of the new changes, I guess, that DDO has made in the last month or so in regards to gear and maybe some insights on what my next thoughts were moving forward. And I guess a little bit of chat about that. The changes that also included what some gamers are calling the nerf or the leveling of the playing field up at epic levels. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not really gonna beg on what happened, but I do have some insights as to where I think it's going, like for in relation to new players. You know, oh well, I guess here we go. I'll open up the character sheet. We'll do the rundown on this full Artificer 20. I didn't mix any classes on this one. On the second of my War Forged racials, and I just decided to make a full arty, but this time go into the one that's more tank orientated. Um, If I open up my enhancements trees, I'll get the name of that. It's the Renegade Master Maker. Um, Before I do that, we'll just do the rundown here. I started with base strength 8. Dexterity started at 12. Con started at the maximum for Warforged is 20. Um, Intel started at my maximum. I dumped all 5 points along the way into Intel too. I went in going intelligence to damage, even though I'm not really that big of a damage dealer. Wisdom was just a dump, and charisma was a dump, which, yeah, I might have put some more in there just to get better intimidate out of it. Next time, if I ever do this again, I guess. Street 20, chaotic good male, epic 7. I'm only level 27. It's been fairly evident to me that the arty tanker, in comparison to the other tanker vids that I've done, is not reaching the same AC values at all. Got a little bit better damage reduction. I didn't really max out yet. I don't think it's going to hit those numbers as my other tank builds. At 27, I'm kind of like in between gear right now till 28. Really wasn't going to focus too much on the rundown of this build, but I don't know if I would do it again at this point. Then some of that might be also because of the nerfs or the leveling of the playing field that Standing Stone is implemented here. So it is what it is. I'm gonna open up the enhancements tree quickly again. And the Renegade Master Maker have 42 points in here. I've taken this up to the 5th tier, mostly for the Paragon body and Regeneration Construct Archon that you throw up, I think is what it is. What are they calling it? You're surrounded by arcane energy capable of repairing damage. Um, and Master Maker, I didn't really even dump into here for the rest of these, even though it's more heals. Reconstruct. Warforged is. I mean, I put another 28 points in over here for the Warforged tree, and yeah, Warforged racial tree again is I mean, it's pretty awesome for being a Warforged. If you went in as an arty on a different race, you might not end up spending as many points over there. But I mean, there's something for everybody in here. If you are a Warforged, and I like it. I mean, I like it. It's narrow, you know. It's narrow for like a melee or whatever I guess you want to make out of the Warforged. But there's useful things in here, even weapon attachment. If you just did a melee, you know, it's giving you extra damage boost to your weapons. So same thing as what I guess I was struck by the Renegade Master Maker. You could make more of a melee basher type, depending on what you took out of Battle Engineer. You could do hammers and morning stars or hand and a half weapons, like the bastard sword for proficiency later, or whatever, and run this up to be more of a melee damage dealer, and or crossbows, repeating heavy or light, if you wanted to. This one I delved into the Harper free agent tree to do intel to damage and to hit with um, warhammers and a rune arm equipped. Now, I guess in the past I had a philosophy of where I was making builds that were just one-sided. If they were going to be offense, they go in and do offense. If they were going to be a tank, they were going to go do tank. They weren't going to worry about trying to kill anything. Just make it bad and be a damage soaker for other players in the game. But now, I guess it seems like on this sort of experimental build, there's certain things that have come up recently in the last year that have made building tunes different. By that I mean the feat epic defensive fighting, and even combining that feat with to get extra hit points and be sustainable. It was leaning me towards, you know, if I was being a tank, to take all the shield deflection feats and everything. Well, on this one, as Artificer, you're not really using a shield in your offhand, you're using a rune arm. So those shield proficiency feats, I skipped. And hovering over the epic defensive fighting, I did, however, go into single weapon fighting for my feats, knowing that I would get the extra competence bonus to hit points instead. So, in my thinking in this way, I realized that the new way to go is actually to, well, I'm not 100% certain that it's the way to go. I mean, it is still kind of, you're open to all builds in the game. Is instead of having a caster that casts a bunch of spells at long range, why not build a melee that sort of casts on the side, and as one of my good ex-Deus buddies used to say, have a tune that emanates damage, like with auras and stuff. Or make a tank that emanates damage with auras and stuff. Either like a warlock aura burster, because you're not casting a spell long range, and be like a dual wielder or a sword and board at the same time to get high ACC armor class and PRR and MRR. So I think I've kind of shifted my thought process here um, on my builds, and I have something planned for the next build that I'm going to do as a sword and board along those lines. Now, the difficult thing with epic defensive fighting is just that it's making all your spells their touch range. Um, so it's all of the benefits that you want from that for a long distance caster are out the window. Even though, I like those builds. I like Sorks and Warlocks and whatever else, because you don't have to be in the main combat area you know, to do damage. And you're out of harm's way usually, most of the time. So that's kind of like where I'm headed. I'm headed towards something of a Warlock, maybe Paladin or Fighter mix, because I know Fighter gets a lot of combat feats for being a melee open to them. And it might even be something in the Vanguard um, for shield bashing, or in the Paladin Vanguard. Now, arcane spell failure is always going to be an issue when you're trying to do both, and it's usually something that I go, like I said, against in my thought process when I build characters to do specific tasks. But I can't wait to really do that video next, I guess, is what I'm going to say. Now, if I open up feats on this, most of my epic feats are on the defensive side of things. The bulwark of defense, defensive fighting is granted. Um, perfect single weapon fighting. I mean, if I take off defensive fighting right now, my hit points drop to 2359. With it on, I'm back up to 2,763 right now at level 27. But I lose that ability to cast curative admixture and other stuff long range. Oh, artificer feats. What do we got in there? What do we got in there? The tactic, I guess the tactics on this character are more like run up, intimidate, take aggro, and then start flailing away with your main hand weapon. The bad thing about blocking with an artificer is you're not charging your rune arm. It counts as a movement, so you can see my rune arm is not going up here at all. If I'm just stable, it starts to charge up to its 5th tier. So in that aspect, as a tank, it's better to just wail away. It's not really, you're not really able to do damage with your rune arm at all if you are blocking. So they've made it so that there's no turtle aspect to it, like on the other tank videos that I've done. What else did I take for feats here? I did take insightful reflexes, and I took bullheaded. Where'd the rest of them go? Martial feat. Combat expertise, which is an intelligence 13 requirement, giving you 10% extra armor class. And -5 to your attack rolls. Improve critical bludgeoning. Knight's training. Thinking maybe I was going to go do some melee. weapon focus, bludgeoning. Meta magics I did take in power spell and maximize. I've had some fun with close-up tactical detonation over here. That's a nice spell. Saves on it, it's only like 42 though. Uh, Something else, if you are in defensive fighting, your rune arm still shoots out. It doesn't count as a spell. So it's not at touch range. The Epic Destiny I am currently running in is the Unyielding Sentinel. Without taking some of the shield prowess bonuses down here. This is also another way that, you know, a true pally tank or fighter stalwart is getting higher AC. So hardened up here and strength of vitality, giving me some more hit points. Didn't even take the Undying Vanguard up here for 1,000 extra. Slotted. This is a mixed bag right now. Unearthly reactions on tier 1. It's giving me more reflex saves. I took 2 feats to boost my dog. The natural shielding and the oncoming storm are from the what the heck is it? It's not Sharati. Fury? No. Exalted 8? No. No. Primal? No. Why can't I find it? Let's just look at the map. This one, it is Primal. No. Yeah. The Primal Avatar, which is, I mean, a lot of people have been running it in Druids and for Druids and even for monks sometimes too if they've been going in here for the Nature's Fury and whatever or whatever if you're a 2-weapon fighter. It's kind of cool. There's also the tree form up here. I like if I have a build, you know, I've done trees before. Most of the last one is Unusual Tactics, which is tier 4 from Legendary Dreadnought. It's helping. It helps a lot of things. Tactical feats get a +2. It helps your rune arm stuff, whatever. Kind of a neat thing. Don't know really what I'd put in here when I do get up to 30. I'll probably get another slot open, but for now I just been kind of having fun like this. Now, I guess originally I was gonna even go into Draconic electrical focus on this for lightning bolts and stuff, but because I was in Renegade Mastermaker and I wanted that defensive fighting feat, all those spells would have their range shortened up. I'm not sure about the Dragon Breath. It might be another way to just tank it up and wait and put your big aura on. Use Dragon Breath and turtle it up. You know, in the flyby attack, I sort of enjoy. Being electrical focus. The nice thing about Draconic is it still is working on your Artificer caster levels along with Wizard, Sorcerer, Bard, and Alchemist. So you get the bonuses down here then of another, 30% spell crit multiplier. You could make a tank that just sat back and relied on these. Or go non-defensive fighting, lose the hit points, and be able to cast all the rest of your spells long distance and blast stuff electrically. It's something to think about. The nice thing about this is if I mix the Warlock with an elemental type of damage, I might be able to make a melee tank that breathes, whatever elemental type of damage as well, and get by with the huge amount of hit points needed for actual tanking duties in raids. Now, that's just a future idea because DDO is steering me this way. I'm gonna end this portion of the video with just looking at what gear, I guess, statically that I have laid around right now. I'm wearing 5 pieces of the Shroud set still. Some swag sightless. Um, the Ward token ring from Thunderhome raids. Strange Tidings. Just for a little bit of dexterity bonus and 2 slots that I get to fill in. That's from the DOJ raid, and so is Sightless. The Battle Rager's Harness, that's from Thunderhome raids. Kind of is good for my Intimidate right there, and then whatever, X amount, 10% chance of dealing 10d6 piercing damage on my damage hits if I decide to melee. And then the Spike Guard. I like to have guards. The Docent is just a normal level 20 Docent of Grace. I don't really have very many Docents upgraded for level 20 gear epically yet. DDO's changes, are recent, so I've been working a lot on trying to get the stuff needed to upgrade my old epic gear. And I guess that's where we'll move on to chatting. What am I wearing for search? The epic goggles of time sensing, still minimum level 20. Search is coming in right now at 91. This is just base, no buffs. Open lock 81. Disabled device 90. This is all at level 27. So, yeah, I got mixed feelings right now on how to build tunes. I guess that's just what it comes down to. I'm going to open up this altar of epic rituals to show in the last part of the video just some crazy stuff that's going on. If you go out and dump all of your old parts, your shards, seals, and scrolls at this vendor, Lahar, say, I'd like to trade in my old stuff for new ones, you can trade in all your stuff. This took me 3.5 hours out here because this guy is bugged a little bit. He only lets you get rid of one thing at a time, and the window won't take the next one. But what it did do is it means, and this is really super cool, right? Like I had all this old gear that was sitting around, and parts and pieces that I couldn't put together to make some of the items in the game up till now. And then I had items that I did manage to make that were a little bit dated, and they were bound to my account. So now, when you have Epic Boots of Corrosion from the Abishai set, it becomes bound to account, and that means you can send it to any of your other characters. Like I have 24 characters on this server, and if some of my lesser characters want to use it, that means it's available to them. Say I'm leveling heroically, then I can just dump the gear over and have them use it while they're up here playing around on the epic levels. It makes the lesser live characters that you have, brings them up to speed gear-wise if they didn't have the time to go get all that stuff during the course of the last 12 years. I think it's super cool for new players. And on top of that, with the mix of gear from all of those old raids, there's options available right now to make almost any sort of build that you want. Now, there's so much gear out there right now, I can't even make heads or tails hardly of what all of it could do. but the future looks very bright. Even this epic ring of elemental essence out here is very useful at level 20 for caster. And again, bound to account and acquire. Nice. All this stuff that was just, sort of thrown by the wayside is now relevant again. Some of the sets from the Sands and from Vaughn are boosting different types of spell power. Even the Iliad Edge, which was used for bards, you know, primarily back in the day, is relative for other builds almost. I mean, the healing lore and the devotion, Anthem, it's useful for other multi-class builds. Um, I wanted to look at some of those Sands gears items and Redfins because they're offering different types of set bonuses on there. Like the Epic Gloves of the Claw are now Epic Volkur's Might, which is only 2 pieces to equip if you get it. Get your Intimidate, your Strength out of that at level 20. And then other artifact bonuses to critical confirmation, critical damage if you're melee. Just almost endless possibilities right now. In comparison, I'm so happy. Even the Epic Necklace of Venom is more geared for melee and everything, but a minus 20% artifact bonus to melee threat reduction. You can mix and match sets on here that don't even relate to any one class. It's awesome. So, in the process of doing this, all these items, or what I learned is, I guess, all these items have the first upgrade and the second upgrade up here at the altar of legendary rituals. Meaning, if you collect all the rest of this stuff and the old epic item, there's another upgrade for it. So, it's an easy way to combine even the Sharn set with whatever the heck else you want to do. The legendary Gem of Many Facets is offering up 2 different sets randomly. This one just came up as a Raven's Eye and Abishai. Pretty crazy times right now. So, like I could spend another couple hours going over all this stuff. Light absorption, hide, move silently on the Fairlian mirror cloak. So I think your max bonuses are like 14 per main stat, plus 6 insightful is what I've seen, and a plus 3 quality. It might be quality plus 4 on some items, I don't know. But it looks like basically you're going to have to go through all of your old characters and figure out what you were doing. And what new gear setup is needed for them. Anyway, totally thrilled about this. I'm not mad at DDO in one bit. Opens the door to new players. Super cool. And even more variety available for the veteran players if they want. I love it. Anyway, that's the end of my video. Thank you very much for watching. Have fun in the DDO. Thank you.